Taylor Lorenz is basically America's toxic girlfriend. She wants all your attention, but also wants to be left alone. You might say she's the Meghan Markle of journalism. She also lies. A lot. And when she gets caught lying, she cries and calls you a bully. All while being creative when it comes to her age. No, really, no one really knows how old she is. According to the internet, she's somewhere between 37 and 45, despite dressing and acting like an emotionally damaged teenager. But anyway, the main reason Taylor Lorenz is the worst is because she's perhaps the biggest hypocrite in the mainstream media. Why? Well, this is all to do with the subject of doxing, revealing private information about people or groups on the internet, usually with malicious or threatening intent. And Taylor Lorenz claims to be vehemently against doxing, despite spending a lot of her time doxing people and then crying about it. Again, America's toxic girlfriend. There's one saga which tells you everything you need to know about Taylor Lorenz, and that's her somewhat bizarre battle with a Twitter account called Libs of TikTok. Now, Libs of TikTok is an account which does one thing: repost videos of radical left-wingers doing and saying ridiculous things, with some commentary added at times. So Libs of TikTok is essentially a mirror that's held up to the left.
Hi, my name's Az and I'm a preschool teacher. Recently we started wearing pronoun pins, and the kids get to pick a new pronoun pin every day. We have some that pick like she, her every single day, and we have some that change it up.
So I'm a non-binary preschool teacher, and my kids know I'm non-binary. They know I'm not a girl or a boy. I use they, them pronouns in the classroom. We work on it. Not all the kids get it. That's okay. And I go by mixed gray in the classroom, not Miss or Mister.
Man, y'all thought me teaching the children about me being poly was crazy. But not only that, but they also know that I'm gender fluid.
I'm going to give you my explanation about what it means to be transgender as well. So when babies are born, the doctor looks at them and they make a guess about whether the baby is a boy or a girl.
Kids as young as 3 and 4 are actually aware of their gender identity, even if they don't have the language for it. To say that pre-K through 3rd grade are not ready for such topics is actually internalized homophobia and transphobia.
In the last few years, the account has grown a large following online, especially after covering more disturbing examples of things like sexual indoctrination, particularly in public schools. Enter our favourite keyboard warrior, Taylor Lorenz. Back in April, she published a supposed expose in the Washington Post titled "Meet the Woman Behind Libs of TikTok, Secretly Fueling the Rights Outrage Machine." Because don't forget, the story is never the story, it's the conservative reaction to the story. Taylor Lorenz explained that, quote, "A popular Twitter account has morphed into a social media phenomenon, spreading anti-LGBTQ+ sentiment and shaping public discourse." The first example Taylor Lorenz discussed was this video.
That's how we should, get down with yourself, explore your own body. Masturbation is really healthy, and I recommend it to people of all ages. All ages. As soon as my nephews could talk, they were doing that. That's what they were doing. Kids touch themselves. Kids start to ask questions, and we teach them the language for their bodies, right? That's your nose, touch your nose, show Aunt T, you can touch your nose. But my sister's not saying that when they're tugging at their penis, right? But it feels good, right? We have to learn ways to talk to young people about this so that they know how to explore their body consensually so that it's not in public, right?
And here's what Taylor Lorenz wrote. On March 8th, a Twitter account called Libs of TikTok posted a video of a woman teaching sex education to children in Kentucky, calling the woman in the video a predator. After discussing the success of the Libs of TikTok account, again, an account that just reposts videos with mild commentary, Taylor Lorenz then revealed the identity of the person behind the account that she said attacks the LGBTQ+ community, Chaya Raichik, an Orthodox Jew from Brooklyn. She revealed her identity even though Chaya wanted to remain anonymous, and even linked to a page that revealed Chaya's home address. The link was later removed and never acknowledged. Taylor Lorenz even allegedly showed up at the home of one of Chaya's relatives digging for information, which could be seen as harassment. So to pause for a second, there are 2 points here. First, the Libs of TikTok account, regardless of whether you agree with the commentary or not, isn't doing anything wrong. It's just reposting already public videos without any editing alongside an opinion. That's well within the normal realms of editorial journalism. And second, and here's the really important part, Taylor Lorenz's decision to uncover the identity of the person behind the account would be fine, if we're being really honest, if she hadn't cried on camera less than 1 month beforehand about being doxed herself.
They'll threaten children, they'll threaten my parents. I've had to remove every single social tie. I had severe PTSD from this. I contemplated suicide. It got really bad. You feel like any little piece of information that gets out on you will be used by the worst people on the internet to destroy your life. And it's so isolating.
And terrifying.
It's horrifying. I'm so sorry.
You're fine.
It's overwhelming. It's really hard.
She also said that harassment is a tool to silence people, complaining that someone had supposedly harassed her family members.
And online harassment is such a misnomer. I think it's a huge problem because harassment is a tool to silence people, especially women and people of color or people from marginalized identities, for speaking out. And there's a very intentional goal behind it. It's obviously it's death threats and all of that and rape threats on the daily. And it's not just Twitter. It's every single surface, right? My cell phone number getting out there, people calling, people harassing my family members, stalking me. All of that is incredibly terrifying and invasive. And it's bled out into the physical world too, which is even more terrifying, right?
Yeah.
But to me, I think what especially the media needs to understand about this is, in terms of protecting their own reporters, is this is just a tool. Harassment is a tool to kind of discredit and silence journalists. And the right-wing media plays along with it, right? You mentioned Tucker Carlson.
So why did Taylor Lorenz, less than 1 month after she cried on TV after Tucker Carlson, a man, criticized her on his show, dox an Orthodox Jew who lives in America's hotbed of violent left-wing anti-Semitism? Haya is a woman, and a vulnerable woman at that. Doesn't Taylor Lorenz care about women? Well, apparently not, because she just won't move on from Libs of TikTok, pushing to demonetize the account and even claiming that it's responsible for instigating attacks on children's hospitals, all while crying about having her own privacy breached, because this is who Taylor Lorenz is, a massive hypocrite who has basically no self-awareness. I mean, just watch this video she put out on TikTok recently.
Okay, I don't know if Media TikTok exists yet, but I have something to say. So I'm a tech reporter at the Washington Post. I cover online content creators, influencers, internet stuff, and all that. And I just have this beef lately with media reporters. This is no hate to all the really great media reporters out there at the New York Times, Washington Post, elsewhere. Tons of people do great media reporting. That's not who I'm talking about. There's a certain class of media reporters that literally just sits on Twitter all day long and looks for spicy tweets from media people and writes about it. And then they make these manufactured controversies for right-wing lunatics and other media people who are the only people that read this kind of garbage. And it's just so lazy, and it's just so disappointing as well. As somebody that covers the new media, aka content creators, which have 10 times more influence than a lot of legacy media brands, I just feel like if you call yourself a media reporter, you should be reporting on that stuff. Let's talk about how the media actually works. Instead, these people just write about the most niche media Twitter bullshit, and it drives me crazy.
Can you imagine just sitting on Twitter all day long looking for spicy tweets and writing about them? The reality is that Taylor Lorenz is not an isolated problem. She's just the loudest and most annoying symptom of the rot deep inside the mainstream media. Taylor Lorenz, and the mainstream media she remains a part of, is just the Democratic Party's ministry of bullshit, doing whatever is needed to protect the narrative. If that means putting a private individual in harm's way because they run Libs of TikTok, a Twitter account which, yet again, does nothing but repost videos, so be it. If that means running defense when the Biden administration tried to place this woman as the head of their Ministry of Truth, so be it.
Information laundering is really quite ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origins are slightly less atrocious. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. When Rudy Giuliani shared bad intel from Ukraine, or when TikTok influencers say COVID can cause pain, they're laundering disinfo, and we really should take note and not support their lies with our wallet, voice, or vote. Oh!
And if that means trawling the internet for spicy tweets and writing about them, like when she thrust Kellyanne Conway's 15-year-old daughter into the national spotlight by aggregating and sharing her anti-Trump posts, so be it. Let alone the fact that Taylor Lorenz is just a bad journalist. You could even call her a liar. She reportedly falsely claimed that she reached out to YouTubers in a story about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, and this claim was stealth-edited out without any editor's note, and it was only added later when media outlets caught wind of it. When she was at the New York Times in 2021, she walked back a claim that someone used the R word, and another time she walked back an accusation that she was relentlessly harassed by an editor at the Drudge Report after it turned out that her alleged harasser had no connection to the outlet at all. What makes Taylor Lorenz even more of a joke in the clown show that is our modern media is that after she embarrassed herself on MSNBC crying about being doxxed while also doxing people herself, she tore into MSNBC. MSNBC, the most far-left outlet on TV, for mishandling her description of online harassment. She said, "Never did I think a fellow woman journalist would throw a colleague under the bus, especially one that purports to advocate for marginalized communities. It's a reminder that cable news will always, above all else, exploit people for cheap views. They fundamentally do not care. Cheap clicks, of course, are different." She did have one good piece of advice, though, telling people do not trust anyone in the media to tell your story or report on harassment accurately. They do not care about you or getting it right. Truer words have never been spoken. Here's the takeaway here. Taylor Lorenz isn't a journalist. Instead, she's an activist. What she does is find something or someone she doesn't like, whether it be YouTube channels or outlets that dare to criticize her or Twitter accounts showing how insane some radical leftists truly are, and then does whatever she can to try and take them down. No examples of why they need to be taken down, of course. The fact that she doesn't like them is all the proof she needs. Just opinion, all under the fake umbrella of reporting. Oh, and all while going after independent media, which should be replaced by, guess who? People like the Washington Post, her employer. Of course, the targets she chooses aren't the nefarious or dangerous sources of evil she claims, so all she does is add a pinch of creativity here and there, sometimes even a scoop, to help frame the story in the way she wants. And when she gets caught, which she does a lot, she cries victim. Taylor Lorenz is America's toxic girlfriend, and it's about time we just block her number and move on. Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can watch full episodes and other clips just like this one. Make sure you ring the bell for notifications and tell all your friends about it.